For 1,000 years, the world had known only peace. Wars, fights, and conflicts were stories from the past, legends that seemed impossible to return. People lived their lives without fear of battle or destruction. Nations worked together, sharing knowledge and resources, and the earth blossomed with hope. But one day, without any warning, everything changed. It started with a strange silence in the sky. Satellites stopped sending signals and communication lines went dark. At first, people thought it was a technical error, something that would fix itself soon. But then, a sudden explosion rocked the capital city of a powerful nation. Buildings shook and fires spread across the streets. People ran for safety, but there was no clear enemy to fight. The attack was precise, fast, and frighteningly silent. No one saw the ships or the weapons. It was as if the peace had been shattered by an invisible force. In the midst of the chaos, 3 individuals stood out. Dr. Lena Carter, a brilliant scientist known for her work in advanced technologies, was called to the emergency command center. Her calm and sharp mind was needed to understand this mysterious attack. Alongside her was Captain Marcus Reed, a soldier with years of experience on the battlefield. Though he had never faced war on this scale, he was ready to protect his people at any cost. Lastly, there was Ambassador Samuel Hayes, a diplomat who had spent his life building bridges between nations. He was now forced to navigate a world suddenly filled with fear and suspicion. The governments of the world scrambled to respond. Emergency meetings were held in secret bunkers and messages were sent to every corner of the globe. But answers were hard to come by. The attackers did not claim responsibility. No flag, no signal, no word was given. The only thing left behind was destruction and fear. People began to question everything they thought they knew about peace and security. Cities went into lockdown. Borders were closed. Military forces were put on high alert. Yet, the enemy remained unknown. Scientists like Dr. Carter worked day and night to gather clues. Strange energy readings from the site of the attack puzzled experts. The technology used was unlike anything humanity had seen before. It was advanced, almost beyond understanding. Captain Reed prepared his troops, knowing that this could only be the beginning of something much larger. Ambassador Hayes reached out to leaders around the world, trying to calm the growing panic. But fear was spreading faster than any message of peace. People whispered about invasion, about betrayal from within. The bonds that had held humanity together for 1,000 years began to strain. It seemed that the shadow of war was creeping, closer once again. Just when hope seemed to fade, a message appeared. It was not sent through any known channel. It was a chilling, clear warning that reached every screen and device. The words were simple but terrifying. You ended a millennium of peace. Now face the consequences. No signature, no explanation, only a threat that sent shivers down the spine of every person who read it. Dr. Carter stared at the message, her mind racing. Who could send such a message? What did they want? Captain Reed tightened his grip on his weapon, ready to defend against any attack. Ambassador Hayes felt the weight of the world on his shoulders, knowing that the fragile peace was now broken. Outside, the world watched and waited, holding its breath. The long era of peace was over. Humanity had stepped into unknown darkness and the future was uncertain. But one thing was clear, they were no longer alone. Something, or someone, had changed everything, and there was no turning back. The city still smoldered from the sudden attack, but the nightmare was far from over. Just days after the first explosion, another strike hit, this time even more devastating. A major city, once peaceful and bustling, lay in ruins. Buildings that once touched the sky were now nothing but piles of rubble. The streets were empty, except for emergency workers and soldiers rushing to control the chaos. Panic had gripped the hearts of millions. No one knew where the next attack would come from or how to stop it. Captain Marcus Reed stood on a hill overlooking the ruined city. His eyes scanned the horizon, searching for any sign of the enemy. His soldiers were tired, but determined. They had trained for war, but this was unlike anything they expected. The enemy was invisible, silent and deadly. No planes flew overhead, no missiles screamed through the sky. The destruction came without warning, like a ghost striking in the night. Meanwhile, Dr. Lena Carter was back in her laboratory, surrounded by screens filled with strange data. She studied the energy patterns left behind by the attacks. They were not like anything she had seen before, powerful, precise, and controlled by technology far beyond human capabilities. She knew that if humanity was to survive, she had to understand this technology. Every hour counted. At the same time, Ambassador Samuel Hayes was trying to keep the fragile alliances between nations alive. He arranged emergency meetings, speaking to world leaders through secure lines. But fear and anger made cooperation difficult. Many governments blamed each other. Some accused their neighbors of hiding secrets. Trust was breaking down fast. As days passed, small groups of people reported seeing strange lights in the sky, shapes that could not be identified. Some whispered about alien ships, others about secret weapons. Captain Reed prepared his troops for the worst, training them to fight an enemy they could not see or predict. One night, during a quiet moment in the city's command center, the monitor suddenly flickered. A message appeared. A signal unlike the first one, but just as chilling. The unknown enemy spoke again, this time warning humanity to surrender or face total destruction. The voice was cold, robotic, and without any hint of mercy. Despite the warning, humanity refused to give up. Captain Reed led his soldiers on patrols, hoping to catch a glimpse of the enemy. Dr. Carter worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets of the alien technology, seeking a weakness. Ambassador Hayes pushed for unity and calm, knowing that only together could they survive. But the enemy remained silent, watching and waiting. The war had begun, and the future of humanity was hanging by a thread. The question on everyone's mind was clear. Who were these attackers and what did they want? The answer was still out there, hidden in the shadows. The mysterious enemy revealed themselves at last. What humanity had feared in whispers and nightmares was now real. An advanced alien race had come to Earth. Their ships appeared silently in the sky, sleek and glowing with unfamiliar lights. They moved with precision and power far beyond human technology. No words were spoken at first, only an overwhelming presence that left the world in shock. Captain Marcus Reed stood among his troops, staring up at the alien vessels. They were unlike anything he had ever seen, tall, smooth, and shining with a strange blue light. The soldiers gripped their weapons tighter, ready for battle but unsure how to fight such an enemy. The usual rules of war no longer applied. This was something new, something terrifying. Dr. Lena Carter studied the aliens' technology through every sensor and device she could find. Their ships emitted energy signals that baffled her. It was clear they had knowledge far beyond Earth's science. Yet in the strange patterns of their technology, Lena found clues, glimpses of a possible weakness hidden deep inside their systems. But unlocking this secret would take time, and time was something humanity did not have. Ambassador Samuel Hayes tried to open communication with the alien leaders. Using every language and signal possible, he sent messages of peace and hope. But the aliens responded with silence. No answers came, only cold, measured movements. It seemed they did not see humanity as equals, but as something beneath their notice. As days passed, small attacks continued. The aliens never showed their faces or spoke. They struck with precision and vanished. Cities were damaged, resources lost, and fear spread worldwide. Governments grew desperate, and people looked to their leaders for answers that did not come. Then one day the aliens sent a new message. It was simple but horrifying. Surrender or face extinction. The words echoed across every device on Earth, shaking the confidence of even the bravest souls. Humanity was being given a choice: submit to a force far stronger, or fight a battle they were not sure they could win. Despite the threat, Captain Reed prepared his forces for resistance. Dr. Carter continued to search for the key to the alien technology. Ambassador Hayes worked harder to keep humanity united. The future was uncertain, and the enemy was silent and deadly. But one thing was clear: the battle for Earth had only just begun. Humanity refused to bow down. The message from the aliens was clear and terrifying, but giving up was not an option. Captain Marcus Reed gathered his soldiers, reminding them of the strength and spirit that had kept humanity alive for centuries. "We may be outmatched," he said, "but we will never stop fighting." His words gave hope to many, and soon, small victories began to appear in the darkest places. Dr. Lena Carter worked with a team of scientists to find a way to turn the aliens' technology against them. Hours turned into days as they studied the strange energy signals and devices left behind after each attack. Slowly, Lena found patterns, weaknesses hidden in the alien systems, tiny flaws that could be exploited. It was a glimmer of hope in a world filled with fear. Meanwhile, Ambassador Samuel Hayes traveled between nations, pushing for unity. Old rivalries and distrust made his job difficult. Some governments wanted to prepare for total war. Others hoped for peace at any cost. But Hayes knew that only by working together could humanity stand a chance. His words were often met with resistance, but he did not give up. As tensions rose, the aliens prepared a new weapon, something unlike anything seen before. Rumors spread of a device capable of destroying entire cities with a single strike. The fear of this weapon united many people, pushing them to support the fight against the alien threat. Captain Reed led his soldiers into battle, defending cities and protecting civilians. His bravery inspired others to stand firm. Dr. Carter's discoveries gave the military new hope for developing defenses and counterattacks. Ambassador Hayes worked tirelessly to keep communication open, even with the threat looming closer every day. Despite the fear and destruction, humanity showed its true strength, resilience, courage, and the refusal to give in. The war was far from over, and the aliens' final weapon loomed like a dark cloud. But for the first time since the attacks began, hope burned bright. The battle for Earth was becoming a fight, not just for survival, but for the future of all humanity. Humanity's hope rested on discovering the true power behind the alien threat. Dr. Lena Carter and her team had uncovered the existence of a hidden weapon, an alien device so powerful it could destroy entire cities or even whole regions in seconds. This weapon was not just a tool of war. It was a message, a threat designed to break humanity's will. The race against time had begun. Lena's team worked day and night, trying to understand how the weapon operated and, more importantly, how to stop it. Every test and experiment brought them closer to the truth, but the complexity of the technology was staggering. It was clear that the weapon was controlled from a distant alien base, somewhere hidden and heavily guarded. Captain Marcus Reed was tasked with a dangerous mission, to lead a small team behind enemy lines and find the alien base. The goal was simple but nearly impossible: destroy or disable the weapon before it could be used again. Marcus knew the risks. Many would not return, but failure was not an option. Ambassador Samuel Hayes faced a different kind of challenge. As the mission prepared to launch, he uncovered troubling news. There were traitors among humanity, groups and individuals who wanted to use the chaos to seize power or even help the aliens. The diplomat had to act fast to prevent betrayal from within, knowing that internal conflict could doom the entire effort. As the team set out on their mission, tension filled the air. The world watched, hoping for success, but fearing the worst. Captain Reed and Dr. Carter worked closely, combining military skill and scientific knowledge to navigate the unknown dangers ahead. The path to the alien base was filled with traps and alien defenses designed to stop any intruders. Every step was a battle, every moment a test of courage. The team pushed forward, knowing that the fate of humanity depended on their success. In the shadows, the aliens prepared their final attack. The weapon was almost ready. Time was running out. The mission had begun, a desperate, dangerous fight to save Earth from destruction. And as Captain Reed's team moved deeper into enemy territory, the world waited, breath held, for what would come next. Captain Marcus Reed and his team moved carefully through the dark and unfamiliar alien landscape. Every step was filled with danger. Strange machines and silent traps waited to catch them. The air was thick with tension, and the only sounds were their quiet breaths and the soft hum of alien technology nearby. Dr. Lena Carter studied every signal they passed, trying to find clues about the enemy's weapon and their intentions. She discovered fragments of data that revealed the aliens' history, how they once lived peacefully but had been forced into war by an unknown force. This new knowledge shocked the team and gave them a different view of their enemy. Despite the danger, Marcus showed strong leadership. He protected his team from attacks and made quick decisions when traps appeared. But the mission was not without loss. During one encounter, Marcus was badly injured while saving a teammate from an explosion. The team pressed on, driven by their mission and the hope that they could stop the alien weapon. As they reached the heart of the enemy's base, they found something unexpected, a hidden chamber filled with alien technology and records. Lena worked quickly to decode the information. What she found changed everything. They learned that the war was not started by the aliens, but by a hidden enemy manipulating both sides. The discovery raised new questions. Could humanity trust the aliens? Could there be a chance for peace? The answers were unclear, but the team knew they had to return to Earth with this information. The mission was a mix of hope and pain. They had uncovered a truth that might change the course of the war, but the danger was far from over. As the team prepared to leave the alien base, the weight of their discoveries pressed heavily on them. The fate of humanity and the future of the war now depended on what would happen next. Whether they could use this new knowledge to survive or if destruction was inevitable. Back on Earth, the truth uncovered by Captain Marcus Reed and Dr. Lena Carter shook the world. The aliens, once seen as ruthless enemies, were not the true villains. They had been forced into war by a hidden enemy, something far more dangerous and cunning. This revelation changed everything. Ambassador Samuel Hayes quickly arranged a meeting between human leaders and representatives of the alien race. For the first time, direct communication began. Using the technology Lena had helped decode, messages were exchanged. The aliens spoke of their history, their pain, and their desire to survive, just like humanity. The idea of an alliance was born. It was fragile and full of doubt, but many saw it as the only way forward. Still, not everyone agreed. Some humans wanted total war, convinced the aliens could not be trusted. Others feared the aliens would use peace talks to weaken humanity. Meanwhile, the aliens warned of the hidden enemy, a rogue force manipulating both sides to cause destruction. This enemy wanted to keep humans and aliens fighting, feeding off the chaos. The warning was clear. If humanity and the aliens did not unite, both would be destroyed. Captain Reed and Dr. Carter worked with alien scientists to find a way to stop the rogue force. They shared knowledge and technology, building trust step by step. Ambassador Hayes pushed for peace, hoping to heal years of fear and hatred. But time was running out. The hidden enemy grew stronger, attacking both humans and aliens. The fragile peace talks were under constant threat. Every day brought new challenges and dangers. The future hung in balance. Could two very different species overcome fear and anger to fight together? Or would mistrust destroy them all? The next steps would decide the fate of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. The war had changed, and now it was a battle for unity and survival. Just as hope began to bloom, darkness crept in from within. Peace talks between humanity and the aliens were fragile, held together by a thread of trust that seemed to weaken every day. Ambassador Samuel Hayes worked tirelessly to keep dialogue open, but not everyone wanted peace. Deep inside human ranks, a dangerous faction plotted to sabotage the fragile alliance. One night, during a crucial meeting, the unthinkable happened. Ambassador Hayes was kidnapped. The news spread like wildfire, shaking the foundation of the peace efforts. Panic and suspicion exploded across nations. Who was behind this? Was it the aliens, a rogue human group, or the hidden enemy still pulling strings from the shadows? Captain Marcus Reed and Dr. Lena Carter sprang into action. They knew time was running out. If Hayes was not found quickly, the fragile alliance could collapse and war would explode into chaos. Together, they prepared for a daring rescue mission, navigating a world filled with spies, lies, and danger. As they worked, trust began to break down on all sides. Some humans believed the aliens were responsible, while others suspected a human traitor. The aliens, hurt by the betrayal, tightened their defenses, making cooperation even harder. The hidden enemy watched from the shadows, fueling fear and distrust to keep the war alive. Despite the growing tension, Marcus and Lena pushed forward. The rescue mission took them deep into enemy territory, where nothing was as it seemed. Every step was a test of courage and loyalty. The stakes were higher than ever. If they failed, the war would become unstoppable. But even if they succeeded, the true enemy was still out there, waiting, watching, and ready to strike again. In this battle of trust and betrayal, the lines between friend and foe blurred. The fate of peace, and perhaps humanity itself, hung on a knife's edge. Captain Marcus Reed and Dr. Lena Carter moved through the shadows, closer to where Ambassador Samuel Hayes was held captive. Every step was filled with danger. The hidden enemy's traps and spies lurked everywhere, making their mission more difficult than they imagined. Trust was hard to come by, even among their own allies. Inside the dark prison, Hayes stayed calm despite the uncertainty. He knew that if Marcus and Lena failed, the fragile hope for peace would vanish. His thoughts were with the people depending on him, and with the chance to stop the war before it became total destruction. Outside, Marcus and Lena faced fierce resistance. Alien guards and human traitors worked together to keep them from reaching Hayes. Each fight was brutal, testing their skills and determination, but Marcus's leadership and Lena's quick thinking helped them push forward. As they reached the prison, a shocking truth was revealed. The hidden enemy was not just a distant force, but included powerful humans who wanted to control the future for themselves. These traitors believed war would give them power and wealth, and they were willing to destroy anyone who stood in their way. With this knowledge, Marcus, Lena, and Hayes planned their next move carefully. They escaped the prison and exposed the traitors, showing the world the true enemy threatening all life. The rescue was only the beginning. Now, humanity and the aliens had a chance to unite against a common foe, but the battle ahead would be harder than ever. The war was no longer just between species. It was a fight for the soul of humanity itself. With Ambassador Samuel Hayes safely returned, the fragile hope for peace grew stronger. The truth about the hidden enemy, a group of powerful humans seeking to control the war, shocked the world. Leaders and citizens alike realized that the greatest threat was not the aliens, but those who thrived on division and chaos. Captain Marcus Reed, Dr. Lena Carter, and Ambassador Hayes worked together to unite humanity and the alien race. They shared knowledge, resources, and plans to fight the traitors and stop the hidden enemy's deadly schemes. Trust slowly began to rebuild, and soldiers from both sides fought side by side. The battle was fierce and dangerous. The traitors used every weapon and trick to keep their power, but the alliance of humans and aliens was determined to end the war once and for all. Cities became battlegrounds, but hope burned brighter than ever. In the final moments, Lena and Marcus led a daring attack on the traitors' stronghold. Using the combined technology of both species, they disabled the enemy's weapons and captured their leaders. The war machines fell silent. Peace, once thought lost forever, returned at last. Humanity and the aliens began to rebuild, learning from their past mistakes. The millennium of peace that was broken had taught them a harsh lesson. Unity was the only way to survive. As the stars shone brightly over a healed Earth, Captain Reed, Dr. Carter, and Ambassador Hayes looked to the future with hope. They knew challenges would come, but together, they were ready to face whatever lay ahead. The war had ended. The peace was real. And humanity had a new story to tell. One of courage, trust, and survival among the stars.